In a world where mental health matters, through Food for Thought, we aim to create awareness and empower individuals to take charge of their mental well-being. Join us as we delve into the complexities of mental health and navigate the path towards healing and resilience. Food for Thought with Professor David Ndete.
Welcome to a brand new series of Food for Thought with Professor Ndete. This is where we talk about mental health issues, how they affect us today, and what solutions are available, because we need to kill the stigma associated with mental health issues. Now, over the next couple of weeks, we are doing a series talking about stress, understanding what stress is, how it affects us, some of the things that trigger stress, and how we can overcome it. Now, we went to the streets, talked to a couple of people trying to understand what is stress. It's something we talk about. People say, I'm stressed. But what really is stress?
Have you ever been stressed? In a world that never stops moving, stress has become an all too common companion. But did you know that stress doesn't have to control your life? In Kenya, a land of diverse cultures and vibrant lifestyles, the impact of stress is profound. According to recent studies, over 40% of Kenyan adults experience moderate to severe stress levels caused by pressures of work, family, and societal expectations. Globally, according to the World Health Organization, 1 in 4 people will experience a mental health issue, often linked to stress at some point in their lives. Today, evidence suggests that women and men react differently to stress, both psychologically and biologically. And women may cope better than men in high-stress workplace scenarios because they are biologically programmed to respond differently. Is stress always a bad thing?
Stress is something that can't make you be comfortable.
It's our body's response to pressure.
An issue that keeps on lingering into your mind and you cannot be able to solve.
My understanding of stress, I'll first start with this. There's no one that actually has ever lacked stress. If you say you don't have even any stress, you're like, no, you need to be assessed. Stress is something that builds up your mind. After you want to reach a certain target of life, then you have not reached, or you want to aspire something but it has not come on your way, or your plans have not come. Now from there you start to know you have stress, either positive, the eustress one, or the negative one.
Being in dilemma, or maybe you have not achieved or you want to achieve. You see now the process of achieving or trying to fix something, and yet it's not coming out the way you want it to be. So I term it as stress is something that makes you to be, your mind to be in dilemma of what you want to achieve.
In the biblical side of things, as in there are some things like, let's say you started out very well, like you are a prayer warrior, you go to church, you read the Bible regularly. Then let's say, for example, when you go to a new institution, let's say like a school, you meet new friends, you try new things, but slowly by slowly you don't know that you are going away from God. So every day you are stressed. I need to read the Bible today. You are not reading because something comes up every time. So you are stressed because every time you open TikTok, someone is always telling you Christ is coming soon, but you're just like, I have time, I'll go back, let me just keep scrolling. Don't listen to this music, but you're still into secular music or stuff.
Let's uncover the facts and learn how to manage stress effectively.
Well, different people, different ideas, different understandings of stress. But we want to talk to Professor to get the actual meaning and definition of stress. Professor Ndete, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, and I'm so happy you are introducing a new way of involving people on the streets.
Yes.
People out there not necessarily seeing doctors or going to those other forums.
Yes.
A fantastic idea.
Oh, thank you.
Fantastic.
So, Professor, we are talking about stress and stress management. How would you define stress? What is stress?
Well, let me start by saying that stress is a normal thing.
Oh.
But then we have normal stress and abnormal stress.
Okay.
Because everybody undergoes some kind of stress. You cannot go through life without having stress. Like, for example, you made arrangements to come and to this place. You were under a lot of pressure to be here on time.
On time, yes.
You are under some pressure to prepare.
Yeah.
If you are a student, and every year we have thousands upon thousands of students who are preparing for an examination.
Yeah.
If they don't have that kind of pressure to produce and to pass the examination, they just sit there and do nothing. So pressure is a normal driving force for us to achieve certain things in life. And everybody, there is nobody who can live without pressure. And if they didn't, if they just sat there and didn't expect to achieve some outcomes, then they will be non-productive. Where I work, some of the things that put me under a lot of pressure, because I am working with so many international organizations. I have this paper, I have this report. It puts me under a lot of pressure. So that sometimes I say, because of the pressure, instead of going to see a country or doing this, I will stay in the office and do some work. It's normal. However, it becomes abnormal if two things happen, or several things, but maybe one or two very important. It becomes abnormal if the little pressure that you are getting is causing you problems, when the same amount of pressure will not be getting another person into a problem. Okay. In other words, we all respond to the same amount of pressure. We respond differently. That is why, with all thousands of students in schools, in universities, in workplaces, all put under the same amount of pressure, many people manage through that without causing any symptoms. But there are some who develop they can't cope with that pressure that other people are able to cope. Okay. That's when it becomes abnormal pressure for them. And here we are using stress and pressure almost interchangeably. Now, it also becomes abnormal if the amount of pressure for that particular person increases in such a way that pressure does not lead to the expected results. So you are putting in a certain amount of pressure.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to achieve is not achieving.
I find that interesting, Professor, because many times when we use the word stress, we're using it negatively.
Yes.
Where unanipatia stress?
Yes.
I am stressed.
Yes.
Leave me alone.
Yes.
It sounds so negative, but yet from what you're talking about,
yes,
it's not necessarily negative.
It's not necessarily.
So would it be that we haven't really understood
we need
stress and its function in everyday living?
Yes. We need stress. We need pressure to be able to achieve things. When you are coming here to record this program, you have to do lots of things, set up the room and other things, because you are under some kind of pressure to achieve certain things. That's normal.
There's a table we wanted to bring inside, but it could not come inside.
Yeah.
I could see some of these gentlemen were a bit stressed. Normal.
If you didn't, you can't get this table inside wherever or outside, and you say, okay, fine, stay. If you want to, if you can go in or you can't go in, it's none of our business. That's abnormal.
Could I also say then, Professor, that stress is an important component in creativity?
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. The amount of time I spend here, giving myself as an example, say I am seeing, and sometimes we see very difficult patients.
Yes.
We see people with not necessarily the diagnosis that they have, maybe depression or whatever, but we see patients who they identify causes of pressure or stress on them. And therefore, instead of just saying, I give an injection or I give an antidepressant to that person, I know it is not enough. I am under pressure to understand why this patient is behaving the way they behave. Yeah. I have to talk to the relatives I can. I have to talk to the different people who work with. And when you start talking to the relatives, you find there's a lot of fight. Yeah, like the mother, the daughter is calling the mother witch. Yeah, and there's disagreement within the family. So there's a lot of pressure on my part to understand everything in context. Okay. I have found a lot of pressure in a slightly different way. When we do research, we find we do whatever we do, and we say this is what it means. We send the paper to somebody else, very different. Yeah. They do their own reviews, and they will come and tell you that, hey, this is rubbish. Wow. They tell you this is rubbish, and they give you good reasons. And then you have to go back. I mean, saying rubbish, literally. Yes. Then I go back and I realize, hey, those guys were correct. I had not seen that. So I'm also under pressure to achieve. Yes. To work up to a certain level where the scientific merit of what we write is also understood by other people and appreciated. So if I didn't do that, I will not be publishing. Yes, I will not be.
Is there a difference between stress and burnout?
Burnout it comes with a very different names. It is a term that we were given by a lady who used to work in Stanford University, but she went into administration and she abandoned the research. But it's basically what we are saying. There is increased pressure, but you reach a place where you want to achieve something, but you cannot achieve. It's like you have exhausted your energy. Burn out, I have run out of it, basically. Burn out, I have run out of energy, I can't achieve more. And instead of me achieving whatever I want to achieve, I cannot achieve it. A good example. Whenever there is an emergency, or let's talk about, working in an emergency situation. Let's talk about doctors.
Doctors, yes.
Let's talk about doctors. Who would find themselves in a situation where they are so much overwhelmed by the number of patients who are coming in, or the long hours they have to work. They really want to help. They are determined. They put in their effort as much as possible. This is according, I have to do something about these patients. But then a time comes, they don't have the energy. They are burnt out, as it were. I know people who don't seem to have burnt out at all. They can continue, and we are different. Others, you subject them a little bit to stress and they reach burnout soon and they start going down. We are so different. And that is another stress for us as doctors. Because for every individual who comes to your office, you must understand that individual as an individual.
As an individual.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we'll do next episode, we'll get into a conversation and talk about, when we look at the negative stress, what are some of the causes and the triggers that push people into that kind of stress? One of the things I have seen is normally for us men, when we don't have a source of income, stress inapanda, taki kuongea na watu and things like that. So on the next episode, we'll get into that. What is stress? I do hope that through the conversation, you have understood what stress is. Mostly we think about it as a negative thing, but it's not really that way. Make sure you tune in for the next episode as we get into what are the causes and the triggers of the negative stress in our generation today. Food for thought with Professor Ndetey. Do have a good day.
Food for Thought with Professor David Ndetey.